Hi everyone, my name is Kendrick, and today I have a special guest. Her name is Sammy. So Sammy, welcome.
Hi.
So Sammy, can you please let everyone know what your full type is?
Yeah, so I'm a ISTJ jumper, double feminine, SIFI, sleep, consume, blast, play, social type number 4.
Okay, cool. And what did you think and how did you feel when you got your results back?
So I was actually retyped. My first type was in ESFP. So it was double feminine, SEFI, consume, play, sleep, blast. And when I got that type back, I didn't really think much because I didn't know anything about OPS when I got my type. I was getting typed through a friend of mine, and I thought, okay, I'm going to hold off learning about the system. I want to get typed first and then like see, what I can learn about it. Um, the only thing I recognized was FI because in the past I had always typed as like INFP on like quizzes and tests or whatever. Um, but yeah, I got that type back and I spent about a year with it. There were parts I couldn't understand. So I think I just, said, okay, I'm not going to worry about this and, just give it a rest. And then, yeah, about a year later, social types came out. And so I said, okay, I'm going to see if like I can get my social type. Maybe that'll help me figure out like what I'm not seeing in like being an ESFP. Um, and at that point, like I had a subscription of my own. So I made my own video and yeah, I sent everything in. And then literally like an hour later, I get an email back from Dave being like, hey, it says like your SCFI, but like I'm not seeing this. Like, can you just confirm that we typed you and can you send your old video and all this other stuff? And when I got that email, I was pretty shocked because I didn't know anything was wrong with the type. I just thought like, if anything was like wrong, it was my interpretation or understanding of something. So I was a little surprised. Um, but yeah, I sent everything back. And then a few hours later, I got like the full retype back. And honestly, like I wasn't that surprised. I felt way more validated by the new typing. Um, because I always knew like, I'm an introvert, I don't like change, like just all these things. So there was nothing that shocking about it. It was just like validation, relief, like self-acceptance, like, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a whole journey.
Wait, so they didn't type you as ESFP or they did type you as ESFP, but then
No, they did type me as ESFP. Like that was an official typing.
long time ago?
That was about, so that was, yeah, like fall 2022. Yeah.
And then the social type came in and then you got switched to an IJ.
Yes.
That's a pretty big difference. That's kind of shocking, to go from EP to IJ because, like EP and IJ are quite different, in terms of like the channel changing aspect of things. So, um,
hmm
the only thing I would say though is you do come across as an ESFP, even though you're not. So I guess it's like you look like an ESFP, but you're not an
Yes.
ESFP.
Yeah.
It could be like the double activated SF,
hmm
that you have. So that could be it. Why don't we go over your parts then, and we'll start with your first animal. So regardless of your original typing and then your new type, which is the more accurate one,
hmm
you're still SF and you're still double activated SF because in the old typing you're double activated SF consume, but now you're double activated SF sleep. So it's still double activated regardless. And your SI is feminine and your FI is masculine. So um, what's going on there with you with your double activated, you know, SF sleep?
SF sleep, I've always kind of felt like it's just a constant like internal meter of like how things are affecting me, like what it is that exactly I'm feeling, how is something in the environment making me feel, and just like always keeping tabs on this like super, super closely. Um, and I think for me, it's also just like noting like how can I maintain like a calm and steady baseline so that I don't feel like all this chaos is affecting me. Like how can I just like maintain calm, maintain secure, like have my routines, my comforts, like things near me that, like water, food, whatever. Um, so yeah, like I'm just kind of always thinking about this, like no matter what I do, like um, no matter what time of day it is or what I'm doing, like I'm just always have like an internal meter on like my needs and like how I can meet them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it in myself.
The funny thing though is you're feminine SI, so your routine is gonna be like
It's
pretty
different.
weird. It's
Like,
pretty weird.
yeah,
It's not gonna be like, very like concrete because it's feminine, right? Or is it, do you have something that you kind of
it's
do on a regular basis?
I've had to like develop like skills and habits to make things more regular. I think like when I was a bit younger, there was no clear routine. I was just kind of like following my whims or like what felt right in the moment. Um, but I do have routines that I do now. Like every morning, I do yoga. I eat like I don't eat the same thing every day, but I have like a selection of like three breakfasts to choose from. And then like I do my yoga, I drink tea, I go for a walk. So doing that in the morning has kind of helped me develop more of a routine. But even there, like I try to leave a little wiggle room, like depending on the day or how I'm feeling and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's funny you leave the wiggle room because I'm
Yeah.
sleepwalk. I'm the opposite. There's no wiggle room.
Yeah.
Like like I go from one appointment to the next with like literally like no, not even like a minute to spare, you know?
Oh my, that would, I tried doing that once. Like when I first moved to the city I was living in, I'm like, I'm just going to explore the city for a whole day. And it was horrible. I felt terrible coming home. I was like, this is horrible. Like I didn't have any time to like regulate. Like I had no idea where I was going or what I was doing. I was super unhappy and dysregulated. So yeah, we're like the opposite that way.
Yeah. Well, I think it's still good you did that because like you're supposed to do the opposite of your type, right? So it's good that you had that experience. And I
Yeah.
think I was watching a video before. I'm not sure if it was Alex Hormozy. I don't know if you've seen his typing video and whatnot.
Mm-mm.
He's an EP, he's like an ESTP, but he said that's something that was like quite interesting. And he said like I think he was making fun of IJs. His wife is an IJ. And he said if you need to rely on a routine to get through the day or your life, then you're kind of in a dangerous position because when that routine's out the window, you're kind of screwed, right? So I think that's kind of like his thought process. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but
Oh yes, yes, I have. I have. I had like a huge life change happen last year where um basically like to try and give a long story short, I was in graduate school about like 2 quarters in, and then I left the program like super abruptly with like no plan at all, and then had to um like start working a job that like I never thought I would be working in. And it seemed like super chaotic at the time. And because it was chaotic and I like didn't know how to deal with it, I just knew like, okay, for my own survival, I have to like make choices so that I can, like keep doing my thing or whatever. Um, and yeah, it's like my whole life, like my whole routine, whole structure, not only just like for my day, but like for like a part of my life, like a part of my life plan. It just like got chucked out the window and I had to learn how to adapt like really quickly. Like that was super difficult, but I've never experienced like that much growth in like that amount of time before ever. So that was like a huge growth point for me. And like I learned a lot. Maybe we can talk more about it at some point. But yeah, like that was like a huge deal for me. Just realizing like what is left when like this point of security like goes out the window. Like I have to do something. I have to create a new routine or a new structure and just learn to like roll with the punches. And of course that's like the hardest thing for me to do, but I had to do it. Like there was no other option.
what was the growth that you experienced that you like your the profound aha moment, kind of when you had that, difficult experience, but then you grew from it.
The growth, I'd say, so for me, like the job that I was doing was a customer service type of job. And I was it was kind of like a fast food job, but not really. Like it was in a coffee shop, but it was a lot like a fast food environment. And I'm dealing with people for the entire shift. Like I'm literally like interacting with people, like 50 orders that are completely different, just constant movement, constant stimulation. And this was something that like before I never thought that I could do. And I realized like, okay, like dealing with people, interacting with all of this newness and chaos, like it's not that bad because like I found that I was able to like I don't know, like I obviously can't develop a routine in an environment like that. I have to like do play basically. And I realized like, okay, like it's it's actually like easier for me to do this now because I don't know, like I developed some sort of like inner resilience about dealing with people and like just um like seeing people as not like so scary. Like they're not gonna like um roll me into anything that like I don't allow. So like also part of that was just like having boundaries at work and stuff and being able to like focus on myself while still dealing with all of these people. Um, so yeah, I think just like setting boundaries and then within that boundary, being able to like take on a lot more than I thought I could. I think that was the growth that felt the most significant.
Gotcha. So you can, um, even though your play lasts, your capacity to expend energy was a lot larger than you thought was possible.
It was a lot larger. I mean, of course, I was like living on coffee like all day long. I'm sure being super caffeinated had something to do with it
Yeah.
also. But yeah, like it really expanded my idea of like what play could look like for me and doing it. And it was actually like pretty energizing. Like I would feel good during a shift. The only thing is that it totally disrupted like every other aspect of my life, like my sleep schedule, my typical like SF sleep routine, like that got completely upended and like that was hard to deal with and come back from. So it was like really good at like getting me to like do play and to see that it's like not so scary and I can manage this, but then it did create like sort of an imbalance as well. So I had to like learn to deal with that.
Yeah, I have noticed that IJs can deal with chaos as long as the chaos becomes part of their box. Like
Yes.
once chaos is familiar, it's not really unknown anymore. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can just come up with systems to deal with like, all the scenarios that you've encountered. It'll be a shock at first, I guess. But that, once the initial shock is over, you're like, oh, I've seen this before. Okay, this is what you do
Yes.
when this happens. This is what you do when this happens, and then everything becomes systematized. And then, because I teach senior classes. That's one of my
Mm-hmm.
jobs, and I have IJs there when they first come in. They're like all paranoid and stuff, and they're like, oh, I don't want to get hurt or whatever. And then after they do like a second round of the class, now they're cocky all of a sudden. They're telling people, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's easy. It's not a problem."
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, what is this? You were like paranoid like a few weeks ago. Like,
That is, yeah, that's me in literally every single new situation. Like I'm super hesitant. I'm like in observation mode, just watching things, seeing like, okay, where can I find safety in this place? And then the moment I pinpoint like where the safety is or the comfort is, I'm like, oh, perfect. I can exist in this small little area. And now I can like tell everyone else like what to do. But it's like, yeah,
it's
no,
so
I was just as scared as,
yeah.
anyone else. Yeah.
I think it's hilarious though to see
Yeah.
that happen, like the quick shift in attitude. Um,
Hmm.
I want to go with your first animal again. So sleep routine, there's like a lot of aspect to it. Can you share with me like your health routine with that, like your SIFI, like exercise, sleep, eating healthy, and mental health?
Yeah, this has like been a huge part of my life. I will say it hasn't always been such smooth sailing. I've definitely had to learn how to deal with it, but it's always been, I'd say, like the main focus. Um, but let's see. Some things that I realized I've needed that like I felt iffy about before, like was exercise. Um, Growing up, I did ice skating and like that was kind of my form of exercise. But then, I got older, like got to college and, you know, things kind of shifted and waned a little bit. Um, But now I'm realizing that like movement, even if it's like yoga or walking or, things like that, just having a little bit of that every day makes a huge difference. Because I'm someone who like, I don't realize like how much energy I just have like within me, because I am like sleep processing all day long. So like doing something like yoga or walking, or like any other form of exercise, it like makes me see like, oh, there is all this energy that I have that like needs an outlet. And doing that also like helps my sleep and helps my diet because there's more of like a natural flow of energy throughout the day rather than just like a bunch of like stagnated energy that built up and didn't get an outlet. Um, so that's a big part of it. Um, I'd say like with food, this is also something I've been trying to get better at, like nutrition. Um, so like I said, like for breakfast, I have like a set thing of things to choose from per day. And like depending on like what it is that I eat, I'll know like, okay, this is the like amount of like nutrients I got or like vitamins, minerals I got from this. And then like I can like base the rest of my meals off of that and try to like aim for something well-rounded and balanced. Because yeah, for me, like health is like the most important thing in my life. If I feel like any area of my health is like dysregulated, including mental health or emotional health, like everything else is affected. Like if I haven't slept well, then how can I go and like interact with the world if I'm like feeling super dead all the time, I'm gonna have to make up for that in other ways. So it's like if I just start with like a really good solid baseline, then I feel like everything else is just gonna come easier and more naturally. Because yeah, I'm super sensitive to like dips in my energy and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but that's like a bit about that.
It does, yeah. It answers the question in your own way, like the
Okay.
yeah, the feminine SI way, with
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's like some flexibility because, like you mentioned, like, oh, there's three options for what you're gonna eat and stuff, and
Yes.
whatnot. I want to ask you next about the emotional processing side of things. Um,
Hmm.
a long time ago, I did a panel interview with all the people with SF sleep, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it had like the ESTJ, ISTJ, ENFP, and INFP. And I asked everyone how they process their emotion. I thought it was like super eye-opening actually to hear what everyone had to say, depending on what the S and the F was. Like
Mm,
the INFP just directly handled their emotion, like they just confronted it directly and just processed it directly. The ENFP also did the same thing, even though they were jumper, like they
right.
had a demon, they still
Interesting.
um, directly went after the FI. They didn't have like need a tool to deal with the
Mhm.
FI. They just went straight to the FI, like, okay, I feel like this, and then they kind of like went through the feeling and process it and see like, okay, trying to understand like, oh, what makes them feel that way, and whatnot, so that they can make a better decision in the future. But then when we got to the ISTJ, that's when it kind of changed a little bit. So the ISTJ girl, she said that when she's having like bad emotion, she'll get latte or some kind of drink to see if that will make her feel better, right? And I was like, huh, interesting. And then she said that if all the tools, the SI tools, doesn't fix her emotion, then she'll go um, get help to process her emotion. And she had lead sleep too. She was like sleep first. So I'm like, oh, interesting. But she's not afraid of the tribe because she's double decider. So she'll still talk to the tribe about the way she feels and stuff until she processes it. Then the ESTJ is a completely different story. The ESTJ doesn't even process the feeling. They'll just exercise or use any tool, but they won't like directly go towards it. So I thought it was kind of interesting. So I want to know
Mm.
where you are and like how you deal with your emotions and feelings. Do you go straight to your feelings and process it directly, or do you go by like, okay, maybe I need to go for a walk, or you know, uh, drink some coffee, get some exercise, or do you just go straight to the feeling and just like process it directly?
I would say like my default response is like I go straight to the feeling, but how easy it is to access that feeling depends on a lot of factors. Um, because I'd say like I'm not too afraid of like uncovering like my emotional truths, like even if they're uncomfortable. But I don't relate to like to figure out this feeling, I need to like go for a walk or do something. Um, Like those things can help, but I'm more inclined to literally just like sit and process it and like try to go through it and go inwards, like no matter what.
Right.
Um, because yeah, it's again like it's not hard like going inward and like just dealing with the feeling right away, but like depending on how buried it is or like any like walls I've built up, it could be harder. And that's when I would probably like reach out to someone like my mom or a friend. Um, but I don't know, I do feel the need to like kind of like do the most like alone and see what I can do just alone processing on my own. Um, but yeah, I also journal a lot. I think journaling is probably the biggest thing that helps me. So I might not like go get food or go for a walk, but like writing really helps me also. Writing or also one thing I've been doing lately is like creating voice recordings, so like talking into my phone. That kind of helps me because I am just like very inward. And so actually just like speaking out loud can like get me to process things that I may not have realized.
You're
So
doing
yeah.
play with yourself,
Literally,
yeah.
there's no one in the room. It's just
Yeah.
me talking to myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to start with like a safe place to do it so that way I can be ready
Yeah.
to talk to others.
Yeah, that's funny though. Uh, well, that other girl, the ISTJ, she's a consume last, so she only has single activated FI. So I think the double activated FI in your situation, I
Oh,
think,
okay.
changes things. So I was just curious how you tackle with that. With your FI, by the way, I'm curious. So for myself, like, would my FI have like a set of values? Um,
Mhm,
and then also when I was younger, I had like sets of emotion that I dealt with that was like difficult. So I'll give you an example. Maybe you can also, share your own experience
mhm.
with that. So like my biggest value kind of growing up was freedom, courage, growth, honesty, and authenticity. So I always live my life by like those five values. Do you have something like that yourself? Like, do you have like a value system that you kind of go by? I know you have feminine SI, but like I'm just curious if you do have one.
I definitely do. I mean, and they've kind of been the same throughout my life. Like, if I had to like define them, it would be hmm, defining them. Okay, defining them might be difficult. I definitely have like overarching like themes, like value themes I try to live by. Um, like consciousness, like trying to do things in like full consciousness, the trying to not like fall asleep or like go on autopilot. So staying present to anything that's occurring. Um, Also like emotional honesty, emotional truth. So like not being afraid to talk about my feelings or feel my feelings, like even when it's difficult or hard, whether it's like talking to myself or like talking to other people. Um, and another one, I think just like I've always had a thing around just like treating other people like how you want to be treated and just generally being like nice and pleasant, like giving people the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if that's like a value per se, but it is just kind of like a way that I live. Um, like I tend to put a lot of trust and faith in other people and assume other people always have like awesome intentions. Of course, this is not totally true, but yeah, I'd say like it kind of centers around those themes, if that makes sense, with the feminine SI way of describing things.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, it's feminine SI, so it's not like the word is not concrete, but it doesn't mean it's not there. It's just like, oh, it's not as what do you call it? There's no like one word to describe all of it. It's more like a sentence or a vibe, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because yeah, masculine any at the bottom, I think it's like I'm still like sitting on the concepts or like holding to the concepts,
Right,
like that's still important, even if it's like not what I'm like doing all day long.
right. It kind of sounded like how ESFPs would do it with like NF sleep. They have like a mantra. So it sounded like you had a a code, but it's your own way of doing it. It's like NF consume, and then it kind of went to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
SF. Yeah, because like you said, like the masculine NE is that's the one that's masculine, so that's what you latch onto. It's not like the SI because it's feminine, so it just
exactly.
flies
Yeah.
away. So you have to use the NEFI almost to kind of latch onto something. What about emotions? So I'll use myself as an example again. When I was younger, the emotions I dealt with the most was sadness, anger, and loneliness. I mean, I don't feel those as much as anymore. Maybe anger, but certain people.
Mhm.
But like, what about you? Do you have any emotion that you like dealt with, and then maybe you're still dealing with, or maybe not, or you overcome it? Like, did you have like emotion that you kind of like locked into your masculine FI? It's like, oh, these are the ones that are recurring themes in my
No,
life.
there's definitely reoccurring themes. This is a lot easier for me to answer. Like, I've kind of always dealt with like self-consciousness and self-deprecation in a way, like kind of viewing myself as like less than, or like other people have something I don't, whether it's like more confidence, more extroversion, more assertiveness, and like I would always see myself as like more sensitive, more quiet, more inward, like not as willing to like play sometimes. So there's always been like a self-consciousness around that, and also like anxiety. I have anxiety, like this has been like a constant throughout my life. Um, Anxiety about different things. Like I'd say anxiety has all kinds of different moving targets. Like when I was a kid, I was super afraid of like animals. And then as a teenager, I was more afraid of like social rejection. Um, Nowadays, I feel like my anxiety is almost sometimes in the realm of like health and wellness. I can get like too anxious and in my head about it. Um, but yeah, I feel like those are emotions I always come back to. Again, they don't always like look the exact same way, like as I, get older, grow and change and whatever. But um, definitely like self-consciousness, self-deprecation, yeah, viewing myself as like maybe less than other people has been like a constant theme throughout my life.
It sounds like it's coming from your social type, if anything, and it kind of seep into your FI. Um, I do want to ask you some questions about the SF itself, like being cool, popular, aesthetics and stuff. Like, how do you
Ooh.
navigate that personally? Because that's double activated for you, right? So it's probably important for you. Do
Being
you-
cool. I don't know about being cool. I have never been cool. It's interesting. Like I think, let's see.
Well, I mean, regardless of your perspective on
Oh,
on
yeah,
on
yeah.
what reality is that something that you want though? Because it is
Like
like it is
to
there.
be cool.
Because it is there. It is like sleep, right? It is in
I
your
mean, to be cool, I just feel like I want to be liked, but to me, coolness is so subjective. Like I don't even know how you define that. But
yeah.
I care a lot about like aesthetics and the appearance of things. So like an example is like I have this lamp that I really like, but it broke, but I'm not like willing to fix it. I just want it to like because it doesn't look broken if you look at it. If I
Yeah.
prop it against like the wall, it looks like it's still kind of standing, but it's not like it's completely broken. Like the light bulb like broke and like it doesn't stand upright, but I'm like I still want my home to look nice, so I'm just gonna leave the lamp here and hope no one notices because I don't want to fix it. Um, but yeah, I'd say aesthetics also, like I'm a very, I don't know, I care a lot about like colors, color scheme, decor, like all around my home I have like a common like teal slash like orange theme going on in like every area of the apartment. Um, so like I was very conscious about like just wanting to create like an atmosphere that was like pleasant and enjoyable for me. Because yeah, when things are like when I consider something like ugly or unpleasant or just not cute or not cool, I guess that's the coolness part. It does affect me. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want to be in this room, or I don't want to like read this thing or listen to this. But yeah, my perception and ideas of these things are obviously like more subjective. It's kind of based on like my internal reaction. Because I do have kind of like a meter of like, oh, I like this or I don't like this, like masculine F5. Like it's really strong. Like I feel
Yeah.
it right away. Like when I walk into a room or if I'm on Pinterest, like I know immediately like what disgusts me and what I'm attracted to and what I like. So um it's there, but yeah, it's very personal and it doesn't make sense to other people, but to me it's like I just know what I like and
Yeah. I mean, I you can when you said teal and orange, I'm like, oh, okay, I see you're wearing teal. You have that orange thing on your couch, and there's another teal
yes, and
back
even
there.
like this literally like teal and orange
Yeah, exactly.
pillow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, that you have your, favorite color scheme and stuff. Um, I'm gonna move on to a bunch of questions that is about your animals, but I kind of want to go faster in those ones because I want to go spend more time on the play last and
Okay,
also
yeah.
your social type. So you've t touched on your sexual modalities kind of already. You talked about the colors and stuff and the visuals. So and then also like how you felt about seeing something that is like kind of icky, or gross, like
Mhm.
like so I get that. Let's go with your second animal. Double masculine, NF consume. So that's kind of interesting because you're supposed to be an IJ, but then you have like this aggressive consume animal, and it's second, so it's a savior also. So it's good because then you won't have the same tidal waves as the typical IJs would, especially a typical ISTJ. But you're also going to be more stressed out than the typical ISTJ because the typical ISTJ, they're supposed to be consumed last, right? They're not supposed to be looking, but you are looking. And when you look, then you'll find out things that will shock you. So on a regular basis, you're more likely to become stressed out. Kind of like me. I'm an ENFP, but I have Blast Savior. I have ST Blast. So I'm stressed out on a regular basis because I'm using like the SI at the bottom and the T.
Yeah.
But then I don't have the tidal waves that the other ENFPs do. Like for example, it's tax season. The ENFPs are not doing their taxes probably. They're probably gonna get in trouble later on, right? Or
Yeah.
they'll do it like last minute, but I'm already working on it right now. It's only February. So like, and I'm stressed out because I'm working on it. I'm stressed out. I'm full of anxiety, stress, but at least it's gonna get done. So I'm not gonna have the tidal waves like those people, those other ENFPs will. But then for you, it's like the opposite, right? It's like, a lot of the trap that ICJs fall into is they're just going through the motions in life because they never did the NF. The NF is kind of like, oh, what's the point of this? What's like the meaning of this? Like, there's no purpose and meaning to something, right? But when you're doing that NF consume, you get that energy of, doing something purposeful, right? And it's
Mm,
consume is also external, so it's like I'll give you an example. Like travel, for example, gives you that inspiration, that motivation, right? And it kind of sticks with you. So then, when things are you're experiencing a lull in your life, you always can go back to like something that you've consumed in the past, whether that be a travel experience, could be a movie or whatever, a book that you've read, and then you can be like, okay, you know what? There's hope. There's like a better way. Because part of the NEFI is like looking at all the different future projections and then how you feel about each of those different future projection. And basically, when you are reading or consuming or experiencing something new, then the pathways to the future kind of branches out. Then you can see more pathways, and some of them are better than the other, obviously, right? So,
yeah.
has your experience been like with that, like having that double masculine, and it's double masculine too, right? So it's
Yes. It's been hmm. So I'd say it does make me stressed. Like it's interesting that you like framed it in that way because I don't think I would have like framed it in that way. But like, okay, actually, like looking back on my life, the things that do give me like these existential crises like are just like thinking about the meaning of my life and what I'm doing and where I'm going. And because when I'm caught up in that, um, like it does make me stressed because it feels like great now I'm stuck. Now I don't know what path to go down and I don't know where things are going. Um, and actually like one of the problems I had with like being in graduate school was that it felt like I had like built up this like roadmap in my head of like this is how it's going to go and this is going to be my life for the next I don't know like 3 4 years Um, and then like when something happened to like make it kind of fall apart, like I was really lost because I had just um I don't know, I'd built up too much in my head and like didn't have like the experience to like know how things were gonna go. Um, but it also it makes me it can make me like too reflective, I think. Um, because like I asked my dad one day, like, where do you see me in like 5, 10 years? Like just to get his opinion. And he's like, I see you like just searching for meaning and just being contemplative and um like maybe you land somewhere, maybe you don't. And so I thought that was so interesting because I do kind of let this thing keep me stuck. It feels like it's going to help me or like it could help me, but then it is kind of creating more of an internal blockage because like when I'm thinking about this or in this consume world, like I'm not like doing anything. I can't build on that. You know what I mean? So that makes it hard. And it's like, I want to go towards it because it's double masculine and it's strong. But also, like, the IJ in me is like, how is this going to help me build something for my life? Like, how is this, it's like there's a conflict there.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's it's kind of like it's good because you're doing it. It's bad because you're stuck now, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about balance, I think, like just trying to balance it out with other things. Um, but even that is hard because like I am super introverted, like at the far end of the spectrum. So
Yeah.
balance in general is just like really difficult.
It's funny talking to you actually because you remind me of one of my friends when I was in college. I one of my good friends was also an ICJ, and she is
Oh,
also
cool.
play last. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, except she's different, and she's blast first. She's blast sleep consume play, but
Mhm.
and you can look similar to your to other types that is either jumper or standard. So I was like, I'm talking to you
Mhm.
right now. I'm like, oh, you have the same mannerism as my friend.
Oh,
And then
cool.
but she's double masculine also. She's super aggressive, so it's a little bit different.
Mm,
You're like the friendly version, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was kind of like a just an interesting like insight when I'm talking to you. But
Yeah.
Dave and Shan did say that observers have trouble with pathways in life, It's not like the
Mhm.
double observers where the pathway is like, well, it's not a big deal. Like, the pathway is malleable. It like changes. So it's like you should be able to be flexible with that, while like the EPs and the IJs are not so flexible with that. So we do have to
Mm,
learn from those guys, right? Just like they have to learn from us when it comes to being balanced with people, with self and tribe, where we're more
mm.
balanced with that in that sense. But
Yeah, that's
yeah. Um, let's go to your third animal. ST Blast, double feminine. So it's kind of weird because you're an ICJ. That's supposed to be your like strongest animal, but it's like double feminine and it's third. But it has like the biggest container because if you look at like the picture of the the functions, like
mhm.
your SI is the biggest box, right? And then the TE is the second biggest.
Yeah.
But yours is double feminine, so
It's hard to follow.
so
I
I'm not
think it's
sure. Like, what does your blast look like, and like when you're teaching people and stuff, or you're guiding people or giving instructions?
I think it looks I mean it so it's hard because I haven't done this like super often in my life. I've done it a few times. Actually, like my first job ever was teaching. It was like teaching little kids how to ice skate. Because again, like I grew up ice skating, so I'm like, I can do this. Um, but it was very like I knew what I was talking about, but it was still very open. Um, and because like, okay, when I'm blasting, like I'm aware of like the direction, like I have like maybe like a plan or a curriculum in my mind of like these are the points to hit, like it's a little container. But as I'm talking, I'll find that like I can leave things open ended, like as I'm speaking, but it's still kind of like it's open, but it's still within a structure, if you know what I mean. um but blasting in general, like I do find it difficult. Like I often feel like I need like so much time to just prepare before I'm comfortable speaking, like writing out notes or like, playing in my head like what it could look like or something. Um, But yeah, actually doing it, I find that it's a lot more like flexible and like malleable than I tend to imagine, which of course, like being double feminine, it's not gonna be like super punchy or aggressive. And um, but yeah, it's open but structured. I don't know. I feel like I'm not giving enough detail, but
It's
it's
okay.
hard to come up with specific examples because again, like I haven't done much of this just like in my life. So like I think I know, but I have a small like data point to go off of, and it was from when I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah,
So
teaching ice skating, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
to small children. So it's also like I have to like blast to kids. So that's also it's also going to be kind of different because
Yeah.
kids are very different learners than adults. So
Yeah. You have to repeat yourself like 10 times, or and even then they
mhm.
still don't pick up anything you're saying.
Yes,
Yeah. Annoying. But anyways, yeah, I've worked with kids before, so I get
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, well, I just the way I see it is you're just very gentle when you're trying to teach someone. You're like, okay, let's do this like this. It's not like aggressive or anything.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just very like very friendly, more like a nudge as opposed to like a direction.
It
Yeah.
is, it is. Yeah, and it's not too, yeah, it's not aggressive. It's like wanting to like give space to the other person also to like respond and to have their own like experience of processing the information also. So it's yeah, it's like giving people a lot of like open space to like hear everything and process everything, I guess.
All right, let's talk about your last animal. This is the one I really want to dive deep into. I also want to talk about your social type alongside your last animal because your last
Sure.
animal and your social type are contradictory in nature. You like
Mhm.
your social forward, that means you like people and you want to be with people, but then your play last, so I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's been really hard in my life. I think, I mean, it's gotten better, but I've I've always felt this like tension because I mean, I like so as a kid growing up, the friends I had, yeah, it was never me like going up to the person like let's be friends. Like it was always just people like coming up to me, talking to me, telling me like let's be friends, let's do this. Like even at the age of 5, like I had girls being like, I want to be your friend. Like, do you understand this? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Let's be, I didn't know that, but yeah, let's be friends. Like, So yeah, I was like, I was always looking at people and at groups, like I want to join, I want to fit in. This looks so fun. And when I did find like a friend group, like I can, I can play, I can have fun, I can do all of this, but in like new situations or new environments, like um there is like there's a pull to want to be involved with people, but like I'm not doing that so much. I do kind of like wait for people to like engage with me and like play with me, I wait for the tribe to come to me. But yeah, because it's also interesting because I tend to feel more connected than I am sometimes. And this is a blind spot for me. Like, because to me, like I have a core group of friends, and even if we don't see each other like all the time or we're not texting every day, I do kind of like naturally assume like closeness and bondedness and all this stuff. And um, I think maybe on their end, they expect more from me to like maintain that level of closeness. But like I'm already starting from the position that like we're super close, we're bonded. I can kind of, it's okay if I go like a week without saying hi or 2 weeks without saying hi. Um, so yeah, it does create like kind of a distance from like what I think I'm doing than versus like what I'm actually doing. And I hope the people in my life are like, I mean, they kind of know how I am and accept it. But yeah, it is something I've had to like navigate and um like bring to consciousness, if
Yeah,
not like try to fix it, but just see it like for what it is. And yeah.
yeah, yeah. Play last people are weird. Just kidding.
They are weird. They are a little weird.
Yeah, like I have one of my friends, he's an INTJ, but he's like play last, and you can't just call him. You have to make an appointment, talk to him on the phone. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Same.
I was like, what? Like, what? Your friends, when
Yeah.
you're friends with people, they just call you. Like, I remember he would get upset when other people would call him randomly. He's like, "Can you like text me first before you call? Like, let me know." And the person's like, "Why? We can talk right now." And it's like, yeah, it's definitely weird. My friend,
I see, and I didn't know that was a weird thing either until it happened to me. Like I had a friend called me out of the blue during the pandemic and I answered, but I was like, why would you do this? I could have been doing something. Like you just assume I'm free. Like I wasn't mad, but I was just like I wasn't expecting that.
yeah,
Like yeah.
yeah, and then I guess it was fine then when she started talking and stuff.
It was fine. Yeah, once she started talking, but I was like in my head afterwards, I'm like, I didn't realize people did that. They cold call. Like, but it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, when you have a friend, like that's what you do. Like you can just
yeah, you just call a friend. That's it. And then
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I mean, like I had like other friends that are double activated play like me, and it's normal. Like they'll just call me out of the blue. I'm like, oh hey, it's not even weird or anything. It's like completely normal. You
yeah,
Um, I think I've seen people who are like that has play in the first three animals. It's kind of they're okay with people just calling them randomly, but the play last gets like really really weird about this. Like you text me first? You're gonna let me know you're gonna call me at this time. I'm like what? But I mean I understand. I get where you're coming from with that as well. Because like if you're looking at it from like double activate sleep perspective, you have like a routine already set for the day, right? And if someone
yeah,
calls you out of the blue, it's like, well, you're breaking the flow. Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you schedule it in, like, I know it's gonna be here, this part of the day.
Yes. And then I can plan like the rest of my day around that interaction. So I'm not like expending too much energy beforehand. So I have energy like for
The
the
chat,
call or for the event. Like
the chat.
it's a system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
So
it's funny though. But I guess you like people a lot still because you're a four. So you like
I
you
do
do.
like people. I mean, I feel like it's actually not hard for me to connect with people. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty like emotionally honest person and
Yeah.
I can like talk, I can share my interests with people and um like I've gotten better at this too. I think like working customer service jobs has just gotten me like less afraid of people too, like I was saying in the beginning. Um but yeah, I don't always like people. Sometimes I look at what people are doing and it's like the most confusing, like ass backwards thing ever. I actually have a story about this. So when I was in kindergarten, my teachers had decorated the classroom for St. Patrick's Day, and they made it look like a leprechaun had trashed the room. And they had like green footprints everywhere. There was like a little box that was like they must have put some battery in it to make it like vibrate and shake. And it's like, oh, there's a leprechaun in here. And all the kids are like so happy. They want to catch the leprechaun and make wishes or whatever. But I walked into this room and I'm like, oh my God, someone trashed our room. And it's a tiny green thing that we can't see, but we know it's there, but we can't see it. And I was fully like freaking out, like having anxiety. And my friends are like, Sammy, like I caught the leprechaun. Do you want to see? I'm like, no, get it away. No, we don't know what that is. We don't know where that came from. Because if this is real and this is here, what else is real? Are there ghosts? Are there elves? Is like more evil thing? Like I was really, really freaking out. I didn't understand anybody. Like, and I had friends in the class, but that day I distanced myself from everybody because I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you are all crazy. And I just went, I found a table in the back and I just drew the entire class period because I always liked art. Art is a comfort to me. I just drew the entire time because I was like, you people are insane. Why would you do this? Just leave me alone. It was so scary. Like I was scared. No one else was scared. I didn't understand.
So you had like
So
an NE tidal wave at the bottom because of
yeah,
this.
I
Yeah.
was freaking out because yeah, it's like if if I don't know what's going on or where something's coming from, then it feels like, then anything could be happening. But like that's scary because like of course to me, like as an SIIJ, like that's scary. Like I need the certainty of knowing that like, okay, like in this physical environment, there's this, and this, and it's the same routine. Like, that's a comfort to me. Like it, in my body, in my way of life, like even as a 5-year old, like this classroom, the daily routine, it's a comfort. There are no changes. It's the same thing. The moment something like crazy happens, and it has to do with like an NE thing, like a leprechaun being
Yeah.
real. Oh my God. I literally felt like I lost friends that day because I'm like, you chose the leprechaun over me. How could you do that? But they just want to have fun and play. They're not thinking about
No, right.
me or my feelings. But
Yeah.
I was like, something changed in me that like I realized, I think that was the day I realized like I'm just different from people. I don't know what it is, but I'm different.
Yeah.
And that's that. So
Speaking of any tidal wave, one of the things David Chan showed this video a long time ago. I thought it was like the craziest video I've ever seen. They showed ISTJs and ISFJs having the NE um what's the word that they were looking for? It's the NE shoot, I forgot the name of it. It's like you're thinking of something that you should not be thinking. Uh,
intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive thoughts, yes, yes.
Mhm.
Like the like they showed like videos of all like the ISTJs and ISFJs like looking like for example they were looking at this duck in the pond, right? It's like what if I throw a rock at the duck, you know? And it's like it's like all like the messed up thing you can think of. It's like what if I punch this person in the face? You know, it's like some kind of chaos thing that like pops in their head, right? Do you have an
Mhm.
example when that happened to you? You're like
This happened during my typing video where I made like a hand gesture um, over photo booth. And I guess like I had updated my computer or something happened where like if you do a hand gesture and it's like through your webcam, Apple will create like a special effect. And I was speaking and I did air quotes. And I guess like the webcam thought that I was making a peace sign. And for some reason, whoever at Apple developed this program said a peace sign is going to equal balloons popping up on the screen. But I was kind of like looking away. Like I wasn't looking directly at my screen. I was just kind of like looking around, like blah, blah, blah. And then, like, out of the corner of my eye, I see an animation of like balloons. But like, I'm like, what? Like, what was that? Because my first thought was like, that couldn't have been balloons because there are no balloons in my house. Like there's no reason why anything that colorful would just show up in my environment. And I thought this is gonna sound kind of crazy. Like I thought that I had like a hallucination. Like I actually thought I like was like seeing something that wasn't there. Like I got scared. I didn't know what it was. Um, I just, yeah. So my first thought was like, oh my God, like hallucination. What if it's schizophrenia? Like what if there's something wrong with my eyesight? Like what, like it's like one thought starts like spiraling into other thoughts. And I like, so that happened like in my video, um, in the social type video I made. And yeah, it was like, it was scary because I didn't know like what was going on. So then if I don't know what's going on, it could be anything. And that's terrifying. That's like the scariest thing that could happen. So yeah, just all these like little observer freakouts with like masculine NE at the bottom, like that. This also happens to me because again, like I also have anxiety, like I have OCD a little bit. It's very mild, but I feel like that pronounces it even more and like just makes it stronger. Because yeah, like the fear I get is like it's a real fear, even if it's like logically it, doesn't make much sense. But like what I feel in my body is like I get spooked, like it's a real feeling of fear. So, you know, as silly as it is, it feels super real.
well, at least the info dump side of you will be more calm because at least they can type you correctly because they're seeing like the tidal wave happening.
They
That's
saw it in real
yeah.
time.
So it's good. It makes it easier to type you at least. So it's like, oh, okay, great. At least you're getting the accurate information.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think because yeah, the first time around where they typed me as an ESFP, I think they were like, we just didn't see you from every angle. Like we needed
Yeah.
to see you freak out over schizophrenic balloons in order to know who you
Yeah.
truly were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at least that benefited you, even
Yeah,
though,
no, it was great. It led to an accurate typing. So
yeah,
God bless
yeah.
my stupid hallucination. Yeah.
Um, part of your play also is NT. So it's like figuring out solutions and stuff. Do you find yourself having trouble with that? Like just coming up with solutions to like a problem or like
I don't
brainstorming with
even
a tribe?
it's just really hard. Like I remember in college, I took a psychology class, and for credit, we had to do like we had to participate in research studies. And one of them was like they watch you in a group, like brainstorming, like making a list. And we're literally it was doing like NT play for a study. And I didn't know my type at the time, but I knew how much I was struggling. It was like trying to swim against a current, I guess. Like I found it so hard to ping off of other people because like, in a task like that, I'm coming up in my head with my own maybe like bullet points or my own things to do. But then it's like the moment another person is like, oh, this, and this, it's like, wait, that doesn't match the little stuff I came up with or did. And this is all I had to go off of. I don't know how to make something work with your information because it's not fitting into my little box of what I've thought. And so it's just that was a hard experiment. Like I was able to get some stuff out, but because there was three of us, so it was mostly like the other two people talking and me just like every now and then giving an answer. But it was hard. I was like sweating. Like I like didn't know how to deal with it because yeah, it just was not natural at all. It was yeah, I hated it.
Huh. Interesting. Like I think for me personally, I've always taken the double activated NT for granted. Um, I've always looked at people with SF. I'm like, oh, I wish I had SF. But then I realized as I got older, is like, oh, the people with SF, they'll never learn NT, but the NT can NT the SF. So it's kind of like,
Mm.
it's like, ooh, it's kind of like, and then I also teach like a lot of senior classes, and I noticed like a lot of seniors, they don't have NT, and I'm like, oh my God, their brain is not working anymore. This is horrific, like, I can tell which seniors are not using their brain anymore. Their T is completely gone, and like their body's still functional, so they can actually still move and stuff, but they can't move properly because they can't think. So it's kind of scary, right? So for me, it's like, ooh, that NT is so important. Like it's,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and also I think like the other thing with NT that is taken for granted by me personally is like being able to stack benefits. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but like I'll give you an example. So I like traveling, but buying airfare tickets is expensive. So using my NT, I was like, oh, how can I stack benefits then? Okay, well, I know what I'll do. In a given month, I'll look at all like my expenses and I'll put them in appropriate credit cards that will give me sign up bonuses, like 50,000 points or whatever, 100,000. And then I'll just map it out that way. And then after I map up enough points, I can go to anywhere I want. Like I even like, have you heard of places like Bora Bora in the Maldives?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I've been there, but like
Whoa.
I stayed for like almost for free, right? Using just NT,
Wow.
right? Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
so for me it's like, okay, how many points do I need to go to the Maldives? So then once I found out the point like the amount of points, I'm like, okay, which credit cards do I need to get? And then like how do I book it? How do I redeem it? So like I mapped it out all in my head with like the NT, right? And then it took 5 years, but I was able to go to both places in the same year actually. It's kind of
Wow.
funny. Um
Wow.
and so it's just like, oh, um because like I have friends with like no NT, and then they don't seem to be like doing any of this stuff, and I'm like, isn't this like obvious? But it's not.
No, no,
So
it's not. Even just hearing you talk about it, I'm like, this would take me like I would have to carve out so much time just to start the process
yeah.
because it would take so much out of me that I don't just naturally have. Like I can do it. I know I can do it. But just to like self-motivate to do all of that myself, like it would take a lot. It's always like another person having to like push me in that direction, because I'm not gonna, in my natural state, like I'm just not going there.
Well, your
But
NT is play. You have to talk to people. Like
well, yeah, I mean that, yeah, but like in
it's
terms
part.
of like in terms of like trying to like I guess like in my head, like an example I was thinking was just like so, like something more along the line of what you're saying. Talking to people is a little different. I mean, I can do that. Um, I can do that if it's just like casual, basic conversation like that. It's not too bad. Um, but there is a point where like I can feel myself start to like the battery starts to go down, and then it's hard to keep up, like because it's like I have a supply of energy to go in this area, and then it's like when that starts to run out, it's like, what do I do? Like I can't just fuel up on the spot. Like I have to go home and like regulate or do something and then like go back and you know. So
Yeah, 100%. I've seen people with NT last struggle with that for sure. Like I've seen like the low battery, the low
mhm.
bandwidth for that. And like for me, I'm like kind of looking at those people and I'm like, how did you why did you give up already? They're like, I'm tired. I'm like, no, you have to keep like brainstorming this until you come up with a solution. If you stop, it's not gonna come, you know? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
but I get like the low bandwidth. You know, I have the same thing for SF. It's like, oh, I
Mm.
have to do my hair and I have to do like pick at the clothes. I'm like, like I don't have like a big bandwidth for this. So I'm like, what? You spent 2 hours putting on like the right set of clothes to wear for like this event or whatever. It's like, what? 2 hours? That's so much time. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm a hypocrite because I do that with NT and I criticize other people for not doing that with their NT. But then for SF, I'm not doing it. So it's like, it's
Mm.
it's the same deal, right?
Yeah.
All right. I have one last question. We'll wrap up the interview, Sammy. Last one is your social type. You're four. Can you talk about the difficulty with the fourth part of that social type, like the low drive, the low flex kind of deal?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say for me, like thinking about something, something to like build that's like a specialization. I mean, it's hard because like I have things I like and I do feel like just in my life I have knowledge that I'm building upon, but like trying to view it in like a business context is difficult. Um, because it's not that I don't have the drive to like go out and do that. It's just I would rather prioritize other things first. And I mean, I guess yeah, like a part of me would rather prioritize like just being there for my family and friends, and then later I'm like, oh, I could have, done this thing with a skill that I had. So sometimes like there's like regret that I can feel about like having not um done something sooner with like a skill or a talent. Um and just kind of being kind of like lost and confused about where things are going um with like a skill or talent that I have, because it feels like I'm always ready to like drop um a plan or something like in order to like, I don't know, just enjoy life now in the moment. Um, so yeah, I guess like for me, it's like, because in the moment, like I'm always willing to like, yeah, like I just want to enjoy things now and kind of focus on my own happiness, my own well-being. Um, and there is like a tidal wave of like, oh, well, why didn't I carve out at least some time to like do this thing? So I find that like it's helpful for me to actually find like small ways to start like skill building or thinking about like what I can do alongside just like wanting to enjoy things, enjoy myself, enjoy like family and friends. So um, it does create a tension. Um, and it can be hard. Like this is, also where like I rely on family and friends for their advice, people who, feel successful in their career or what they're doing. Because yeah, for me it's just like not like a natural drive I seem to have to just like, want to build some sort of career or business or something. Like it's there. It's not that it's not there. It's just I'm prioritizing other things, I guess. So
Do you get triggered by people who are like number ones, like super high drive? They'll like shit on people to get ahead. Like people
I
are
don't
expendable in order to get ahead, you know?
if I don't get too triggered, but I just see it as like this is a totally different, like they're just occupying a different reality than I am. I'm not gonna waste time thinking about it or what they're doing. Um, but like I think my sister is a one, and sometimes she'll say things to me that like kind of get into my head where I'm like,
Like what?
um, ooh, I mean, she's really aggressive and mean, if I can say that. So I
Yeah.
won't say everything she says to me because it's kind of mean.
It's like older sister or
Um,
younger sister?
no, she's actually younger.
Oh, okay.
She has the attitude and energy of like an older sibling, though. I don't really know where that came from. We're like polar opposites. But she's like, you're lazy. Like, what are you doing? You're just kind of like riding the coattails of other people, which is not true. But like, I don't know, she just sees me as like coasting and floating along,
Oh
like
yeah.
wasting precious years. And I'm like, nah, like, you know, I'm content. You're clearly stressed. Who's the real winner here? Like, and of course there's no real winner. It's just yeah. So sometimes when she says things like that, though, it does kind of make me wonder, like, am I wasting time? Like, should I be doing more? But,
Yeah.
you know,
I think your sister is saying it for her benefit. Like, because if you're doing that, A, it makes her look bad. Because then if she's talking about her family, it's like, oh, one of my sisters, like, not, you know, has no ambition to be more. So it's kind of like, kind of like the coasting. That's where the coasting comment sounds like it's coming from. And then the other one is like,
yeah.
as a number one, you want to be surrounded with people who are like driven, ambitious, want to win at all costs. And then you have, so like your social network affects you, like your drive and stuff. So if you have someone in your social network that is like, just living life to be comfortable and happy, and to them it's like, no, that is bad. And also it's like also with social type 1 and 4, um, number fours apparently look at the past as something that's positive, and the future is like scary and negative. But like the number
Mm,
ones are the opposite, where like the past is like bad and the future is good, because in the future they see themselves to be like a better version of themselves, while the past is like a
mm,
loser version of themselves, right? So it's like
yeah, yeah,
so it's kind of interesting. I've seen that with number fours, they're always like reminiscing about the past and like what happened like long time ago. And then
yeah.
I'm a number two, which Shan calls like hopium. Like the past and the future are both positive, which is like diluted. They said like number twos are diluted, right? And then like number threes are like the opposite, like extreme pessimist. Like the future and the past are both negative. Something. So it's like if you were like a three and an IJ, it's like something bad's gonna happen. Well, I know it's gonna be bad because I'm a social three also, so I know it's gonna be bad on top of bad. Um, so I just think it's kind of interesting. But like, yeah, uh, yeah, your situation is definitely interesting for sure. Like 1 and 4 siblings, that's a tough one. You know, I
Yeah, it is tough.
I fight with my number three sister a lot, so it makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm a two, so it's like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
as a social type two, everything for me is like you're responsible for everything that happens in your life. You can't make excuses. And my sister is a number three. She blames everyone for that what happens. Like it's somehow never her fault. I'm like, what? So it's like I'm like, you do know, like, for all the situation that you're describing, the only common denominator is you. So it clearly is, it
Mm,
means it's you are the problem. But then, like, I spoke to a psychologist before, and my psychologist is a three, and maybe he's self-projecting. He's telling me, he's like, Kendrick, some things are not your fault. It's not if so it's like, huh, interesting. So
yeah, that's so different. Yeah.
I do want to say one comment about your play though is even though your play lasts, I've noticed like with play there's like four different dimensions to it, you could say. So one
Hmm.
dimension is the ante, the other dimension is the pinging back and forth. Another dimension of play is gathering information from the tribe. In your case, is gathering solutions from the tribe, because anti-solution. So you're essentially gathering a solution from the tribe. So when you're having a problem, your goal is to actually to just get it from someone, not actually to think it yourself.
Hmm.
And then there was one more which I am forgetting now, but oh yeah, expending energy for the tribe. So you're like helping other people. But it sounds like to me you can ping actually, because I've been talking to you and you're able to ping. Because I've had
Yeah.
interviews with like other play last people and they can't ping. Like I'm talking to them and then they're just like, I said something and then they don't say anything back to me. I'm like, uh, where's the ping back, right? But it's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's kind of interesting how your play last, but you could ping, you know.
Yeah, no, I can. Like, I think I met up with like a friend who I hadn't seen in like a super long time, like maybe 4 or 5 months ago now. And she's save your play. She's play blast, sleep consume, and she's like, where's the play last? I don't see it because I was like able to ping with her, but I don't know. it has gotten easier for me. I feel like there was a time where it was a lot more difficult, but I think like um working certain jobs or I mean it's more than that obviously, but um it's part of it though, like being exposed to all kinds of people. And also, yeah, just like having a drive like to connect and like to be friends with people like makes a difference. Um, so yeah, no, I that's good of you to say that because yeah, sometimes I'm like, am I doing this? But it seems like I am. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like it comes like sort of naturally, but it does depend also like maybe on like the person or like the kind of conversation we're having. And um we're talking about me and like my own process stuff, so maybe it's like easier to talk about that than it is like, I don't know, like a completely different sort of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I've spoken to enough play last people to know when
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, you can
when
compare.
when the play last person is pinging or not, and you're pinging for sure. I think David Chan said that consume and blast allows you to ping or allows you to have like a exchange of information in a more natural state because the energy DOMs they're a little bit weird about this. Like when I talk to energy DOMs, it's like sometimes it's like taking turns blasting to each other. Well, with with the other info DOMs, it's like a more free flowing conversation, you know. And I think info
Mm,
dumps are actually more serious than energy dumps because energy dumps are a little bit goofy, you know. Well, info dumps are like more serious with like hey, let's do the consume and the blast, make sure
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're both learning versus like the energy dom is like just making faces and like making weird noises and stuff and um yeah, which is fine. There's a time and place for that too, obviously. Like you don't want to be an info dom in a party because then yeah, then you're the then you're the weirdo there, right? Like yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then so I guess which part of that thing that I described that you have the most trouble with then? So if you can ping, do you have trouble then with the NT or expending energy for the tribe or gathering inform solutions from the tribe? So
I
which of
think
those?
expending energy for the tribe. I don't want to do things for people like that. I mean, it's not that I don't, but it's just, I just really don't like it. Like, I would need to feel like there's a really good reason to want to do that, you know? Um, like, it's just, I don't know. Like, if someone just told me to do that, like, I'm having trouble thinking of like an example, but
Like if your parents ask you to like do some errands or chores?
I mean, yeah, I would do it, but it would be so like begrudgingly done, like I
You'd be
would do it.
resentful?
I wouldn't appear resentful. I would appear pleasant, I'm not
Yeah, but
trying to like
inside, I'm asking about
aggressive.
inside. Are you
Oh yeah, yeah.
resentful
On the
inside?
inside, yeah. On the inside, I'd be like, yeah, there would be just like an instant like drop in energy. I would probably like look really tired, like I'd probably sigh, like, okay, like I gotta do this.
Yeah.
Actually, I struggled with that at my job where I was teaching ice skating because I'm doing that like all day long, and that was a hard job. I didn't. There were parts of it I enjoyed, but parts of it that were really hard. And like after a shift would end, I would just go home and crash. And um, at like the coffee shop job I had, it was like that too. I would just go home and crash because it's like I can do it, but it's so hard. Like it's literally all of the energy that would like go to myself, like now has to go towards a bunch of people with a bunch of different demands. And like after doing that, it does kind of feel like, oh, like what am I left with now? I have to find a way to recharge and get back to like that balance. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. At least you know which of the four. Um,
I mean, I'm
you,
assuming that's what it feels like, but that was
I'm
my
pretty sure
first.
I'm pretty sure you know yourself well
Yeah.
enough to
Yeah.
know that. Yeah. Yeah. Like for me, like when my SF sleep last, like like what are the category for SF sleep, right? It's like processing your deep emotions, having a health routine, preserving energy from the tribe, and the SF itself, like the cool and popular stuff. Like I already know the one I mess up the most is the cool and popular thing, like the yeah, like trying to look nice and stuff. Like that's like the one. Like I
Mm,
so it's like I think most people are aware which one is like they're not doing enough of, and it's probably leaving a void somewhere. Because if you did,
mm,
it's like it's like the 80/20 rule, right? Like if you did 20% of that thing that you're not doing, then your life would be so much better in ways that you can't even imagine. So
mm.
um so I guess if you did that, then something good will happen to you. Like you know, um, I don't know what that
Sweet.
is, but definitely something good for sure. But anyways,
Mm.
we'll wrap up the interview here, Sammy. So thanks for coming out and sharing more about yourself and your life and um, you know, your tidal waves and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it was, thanks for having me. It was fun.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you next time. And in the future, if you want to do a follow-up interview, we can definitely do that. Like see where you are in your personal growth journey. Until then, we'll see you around.
All right, cool. Thank you.